Drew McIntyre's sudden suspension has rocked WWE like a thunderstrike nobody predicted, and the fallout from this decision is spreading through the locker room faster than anyone expected.
What we are witnessing right now goes far beyond simple discipline.
This situation is being whispered about backstage as a complicated mix of politics, favoritism, and the dangerous gray area between leadership and the abuse of authority. But before we uncover the deeper layers that WWE would rather keep behind closed doors, we need to rewind to the explosive moment that triggered this entire storm, because what Damian Priest did that night completely flipped alliances, rivalries, and fan expectations upside down in one shocking sequence. The chaos began when Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black carried out one of the most savage backstage ambushes WWE has seen in recent memory. Cody Rhodes had just survived a grueling match and could barely stay on his feet. He was exhausted, vulnerable, and completely unprepared for what was about to happen next. Without warning, Drew and Aleister struck like predators sensing weakness. This was not the usual controlled chaos fans are used to seeing. This felt raw, personal, and dangerously intense. Drew unleashed Claymore kicks with frightening aggression, each impact echoing like it could end a career on the spot, while Aleister Black delivered strikes so sharp and precise that Cody was dropped to the floor more than once.
Their goal was not just to send a message.
They wanted to make an unforgettable example out of him. They cornered Cody near the trainer's room, strategically targeting his legs first to eliminate any chance of escape, then escalating the assault with steel chairs and heavy production crates. Security rushed in to intervene, but Drew tossed them aside with alarming ease, as if they were nothing more than obstacles in his path. The situation spiraled so far out of control that even members of the production crew reportedly hesitated, unsure of how far the violence might escalate. Then, in a moment that changed everything, Damian Priest's music hit. The Archer of Infamy stormed into the scene with pure intensity written all over him. There was no hesitation, no pause to calculate the odds. Priest charged straight into the chaos, taking the fight directly to both Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black at the same time. What followed was a burst of controlled fury. Priest planted Drew with South of Heaven directly onto the unforgiving concrete floor, with no padding and absolutely no mercy. The sound of impact echoed through the arena, and for the first time during the assault, Drew looked stunned and vulnerable.
But Priest was far from finished.
Fueled by adrenaline, he grabbed a production crate and repeatedly drove it into Drew while shouting that now he understood what it felt like to be jumped. When Aleister attempted to strike from behind, Priest reacted instantly, countering with a devastating razor's edge that launched Aleister through a catering table in a spectacular crash of food, debris, and chaos. The visual of Priest standing tall over two fallen heavy hitters while helping Cody Rhodes back to his feet instantly became one of those moments fans replay over and over.
Two former rivals, briefly united by a shared sense of justice. It was powerful, dramatic, and unforgettable.
But this is where the story takes a controversial turn that has fans and insiders talking non-stop. After reviewing the incident, WWE announced an indefinite suspension for Drew McIntyre, and only Drew McIntyre. Aleister Black faced no suspension despite being equally involved in the ambush. Damian Priest, who used overwhelming force in his intervention, also walked away without punishment. The decision sent a chilling message across the locker room. Many are now asking whether this was truly about discipline or something much deeper. According to multiple backstage reports, Drew McIntyre has not been shy about voicing his opinions regarding WWE's creative direction. Sources claim he has questioned booking decisions and advocated strongly for better opportunities for mid-card talent. Instead of being praised for leadership, those same reports suggest he has quietly been labeled difficult behind the scenes. To many observers, this suspension feels less like punishment for the attack and more like a reminder of who holds the real power. Meanwhile, Aleister Black has remained completely silent, keeping a low profile and avoiding public commentary. That silence, in the eyes of many fans, appears to be working in his favor. Damian Priest, on the other hand, is being widely celebrated for stepping in as the unlikely hero, even though his actions left two men laid out backstage. To critics, the contrast is impossible to ignore, and the word favoritism is being thrown around more than ever. Drew's suspension being labeled indefinite only adds fuel to the fire. In WWE terms, that often means uncertainty, creative limbo, and no clear timeline for return. No confirmed appearances, no storyline direction, and potentially no major paydays tied to live events. Many insiders are calling it psychological pressure disguised as disciplinary action. What has truly ignited the internet, however, is Drew's own response. In a defiant social media post, Drew made it clear he is not backing down, declaring that he was suspended for fighting back against injustice and for speaking his mind. He ended the message by saying he would wear the suspension like a badge of honor and would return when the company remembered the value of star power. That single post exploded across social media. Hashtags supporting Drew began trending worldwide, and WWE's comment sections quickly filled with angry reactions demanding answers. In the United Kingdom, where Drew McIntyre is viewed as a national hero, the backlash has been especially intense. Fans there remember how he carried the company through the difficult pandemic era, and many feel this decision is a betrayal of one of WWE's most loyal workhorses. Some frustrated supporters have even threatened to cancel subscriptions in protest, showing just how emotionally charged this situation has become. Aleister Black's continued silence is only deepening the controversy. With no public defense of Drew and no acknowledgement of the incident, some fans believe he is benefiting from the situation by staying quiet. Cody Rhodes has also remained publicly silent, likely under strict instructions from management, but insiders suggest the tension behind the curtain is very real. Damian Priest's role in all of this has unexpectedly created one of the most compelling story threads WWE has in its hands right now. By stepping in to save Cody, Priest positioned himself not just as a competitor, but as a man driven by principle. In past interviews, Priest has spoken about standing up to bullies and doing what is right regardless of the consequences. That moral stance has now transformed him into an unlikely fan favorite. With Cody potentially feeling indebted to Priest, fans are already speculating about where this uneasy alliance could lead. Some are fantasy booking tag team clashes against Drew and Aleister, while others believe this partnership could slowly fracture into a heated rivalry down the line. If handled correctly, this situation could become storytelling gold. If mishandled, it could quickly lose momentum. However, the deeper concern being discussed backstage is the culture this decision may be creating. Drew's punishment has reportedly made several wrestlers more cautious about speaking up.